It's time for Shaka's awards for the season. We're not quite at the end of the campaign, but we've seen enough, I'd say, over a very strange year, affected, of course, by the coronavirus pandemic. Shaka, all bets aside, let's take a look at your selections and how you've come to your decisions on your awards. Let's start with the big one, your player of the season.
I'm going defender here. After Virgil van Dijk won it last season, I'm sticking with that position. Ruben Diaz from Manchester City. As good as City have been, I think a lot of their successes has been about how improved they've been defensively. That's allowed City to play as attacking as Pep Guardiola likes them to, without the uncertainty of having to look over your shoulder every time the ball goes behind you or somebody mounts an attack. Ruben Diaz has been absolutely fantastic. And again, showing how important good defenders are to title-winning teams. Strikers, they score, they'll grab the headlines. It's the defenders who win you titles.
All right, that's a good start. I like having a centre-back as our player of the season. Always bodes well from there on in. How about your young player of the season?
Mason Mount. First of all, before I announce Mason Mount as my young player of the season, I don't even know what young player is anymore. It seems that these players are breaking into first teams and having these huge impacts in their teams at younger and younger ages. But does Mason Mount still qualify as a young player?
Yes. Well, they're all young compared to us.
Oh, well, yeah, that doesn't say a whole lot, Ross. Okay, if Mason Mount still qualifies, I go Mason Mount. I think he's been absolutely fantastic. Great under Frank Lampard, a manager that he knew previously, question marks as to what role he would play once Thomas Tuchel came in. But again, over recent weeks, you've seen how important he is to Chelsea. Absolutely fantastic in everything that he does. Chelsea's successes this season, the successes under Thomas Tuchel, Mason Mount has been pivotal to all. He, for me, is my young player of the Premier League season.
Okay, let's change tacks. Let's talk about most improved player.
Most improved, and this leans into my player of the season. Most improved, John Stones. And just playing alongside my player of the season, Ruben Diaz, Stones has been the defender that Man City thought they bought all those years ago. He has been absolutely fantastic. Listen, he's made a mistake or two. Who hasn't in this very long season? But the bulk of John Stones' play has been pretty much faultless. He's found a partner in Ruben Diaz that's allowed him to take up his natural positions, not second guess himself. And as we've seen, and why he was bought, still so good with the ball at his feet, still offers a lot in terms of starting the play for Manchester City. Stones really has been a player rediscovered.
Do you think there's a higher ceiling for Stones?
I do. I feel that he has attributes that not many centre-backs in today's game do. But as we saw pre-Diaz, he can sometimes find himself out of position. He can sometimes second-guess his own decision-making. When you have somebody who understands you and reads your game and can cover for you, it allows you to be more comfortable in so much of what you do. Because of some of his own indecisions, some of his own errors, I thought you saw a lot of Stones' natural game kind of fall by the wayside. He wasn't stepping into midfield as he normally does. He wasn't passing the ball with as much ease, as much confidence, and taking some of the risks that he does in passing the ball that he did previously. But you've seen all of that come flooding back. His ceiling is higher, or can be higher, to your question, Ross, but it seems so hinged to Ruben Diaz. So I'm not sure if he goes elsewhere, or to your point, to the point of the Euros coming this summer. As we said, I'm not sure the John Stones who will be playing for Gareth Southgate. It may be a very different player from the one who's playing for Pep Guardiola.
We should keep our eyes across that one, of course. Let's talk about the best transfers. I mean, not in terms of collectives, but as an individual, who was the best signing of the season for you? I suppose on a value or on just a simple achievement basis.
Totally unbiased I am here, Ross. Edouard Mendy coming in for, what was it, 18 million pounds or something of the sort. I mean, that is, in today's market, that is a steal. But to come in and transform Chelsea defensively in the way that he did, and now all of a sudden you see a defensive rear guard, whether it was the 4 or the preferred 5 that Thomas Tuchel now uses, at that defensive rear guard to play with confidence because they know that they have a goalkeeper behind them that they can rely on. Edouard Mendy has been absolutely fantastic. And in just following on from my Stones Diaz kind of how those two affected each other, Kepa, when called into action in the Cups, has been absolutely fantastic. He's responded to the competition. He's responded to whatever it is Edouard Mendy brought. So Mendy, transfer of the season, no question, not just for his own performances, but how he's affected everybody around him, including the guy who's competing for his shirt.
Absolutely fantastic. And a goalkeeper, and I think goalkeepers, you will feel, should always have been valued so highly as Kepa and as Mendy, right?
I'm glad you said it. I'm glad you said it, Ross, because I didn't want to be accused of that bias.
If only we could go back in time. Let's sum it up with the manager of the season then.
I've got to go Pep Guardiola. As talented a team as he has, 2 players in our list already mentioned. Right now, as we record this, Premier League champions, or soon to be officially crowned as Premier League champions, and have a European final to come. I think right now, Pep Guardiola, of course, Thomas Tuchel and Chelsea can change that thinking, but we'll see. As we sit right now, I have to go Pep Guardiola, and that is in no way to discredit the job that Tuchel has done since coming in. If you're going to ask me who's been the manager of the last half a season, it probably would be Thomas Tuchel. But over the course of a campaign, I'm going to go Pep Guardiola.
And does it sway depending on who lifts that trophy for you? Is it between those two, and you would give it to Tuchel if he manages to depose Manchester City and again prevent them from picking up the Champions League trophy?
That's a really good question, but I'm not sure. I still feel that the Premier League, your domestic league, is your bread and butter, and European titles are the icing on the cake. Now, saying that, Manchester City's their holy grail has been the Champions League for quite some time. That is the title that's eluded them. That's the one they want most. But right now I'm not so sure. Maybe if Chelsea had won the FA Cup, I would think a little bit differently. But to be decided. Let's just leave it as a TBD for right now, Ross. Goal of the season. Let's go. Goal of the season. Alisson against West Brom.
Tell me about that. Now, tell me that you could have done the same thing.
Oh goodness, no, Ross. No. If I run that far, I don't jump. The length of a field, I'm not going to jump. Listen, that header, as I described it on ESPN FC right after that game, that was a very good striker's very good header. That the ball was behind Alisson. He somehow had to check back, get his head on it, perfectly into the side netting. I mean, just as a goal by itself, regardless of who you are, it was an incredible header. Add into the situation, the moment, what it promises to deliver in terms of Champions League football for Liverpool. And as we record, that too is to be determined. But just to keep them in the hunt, fans back in the everything about it was just incredible. It really, really was. Easily goal of the season for me.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content plus live streaming, make sure to subscribe to ESPN Player.